So in the first video we drew a grid. Now this grid is orange because I've gone over the lines, the pencil lines of the grid with an orange marker. This is to enhance the grid, which means when I put another sheet of tracing paper over it, I can still clearly see the grid. Now you can do this using a brightly coloured marker. For example, I used orange there. So I'm going to do just that. I'm going to apply another sheet of tracing paper over the grid, and I'm going to do it in the same way as I started applying the initial sheet of tracing paper. So first of all, I'm going to fix down the top corners. And then I'm going to move my slide rule the whole way down just to make sure that the sheet of tracing paper is flat to the surface of the other sheet. Now, okay, so now I have my second sheet of tracing paper and I can clearly see the grid through it. So what we're going to do today is we're going to have a look at how you can start thinking about your layout by using your 1:50 grid. And it's worth saying now that the reason that I use a 1:50 grid is because it's much smaller, so that you can see the entire layout very easily on the grid. Now again, this is not an exact science, it's not a finished architectural drawing. This is, if you like, it's notebook work. So this is something that you start off with any layout really. So say for argument's sake, I'm going to decide that the room I'm constructing is approximately, let me see now, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So 7 meters by 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 by 9 meters. Okay. Let's see, is that all right? So let's just count them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Yeah. So I'm just going to, assuming the room is a rectangular shape, I'm just going to close off that rectangle. Okay, so now we know what our room looks like, scale 1:50, and we know that each one of these squares represents 1 meter, 1 square meter, 1:50. So this is the line of the internal wall. So I do want to know where the external wall lies. So let's just say the external wall is 30 mil thick, so that's about, or sorry, 30 centimeters thick, so that's about 1/3 of a meter. So let's just say it's roughly about there. And again, roughly about there. And roughly about there. Again, your lines don't have to be absolutely straight. This is, you know, during your development stage. Okay, so this is the thickness of the external walls. It's very important to put in both external and internal walls, so you can see how they relate to each other. Okay, so let's say for example you have a front door and your front door is somewhere here. So let's put your front door here, and let's say your front door is about 900, so it's not quite the meter, and your front door is going to open in. So your front door is there, and let's just say you have maybe a long line of windows here, so you'll have a bit of a nib here. Let's just say you're and a nib there, so we're going to use a line just to represent where the windows are there. And let's just say you have a smaller window here. Okay, so we know that this is solid wall. Okay, now you can continue that the whole way around. So we have to think about whether we have a staircase in here or not, whether it's a single story or double story or what it is. So for argument's sake, let's put in a staircase and say our staircase is a straight run on this side. So let's put the landing of the staircase there, and let's just say it's about 1 meter wide. And it runs all the way up. So this is just the landing. And we put our staircase just running up there. Okay, so we have to put a kitchen area, dining area and seating area in here. So what we need to think about is, what size are these elements? What size are these pieces of furniture? So let's just start really simply. And I'm going to draw a couch. And the standard size of a 2-seater couch is 1 meter by 2 meters. So that's what a standard 2-seater couch looks like within the scheme of a plan this size. Now I'm going to draw a dining room table and chairs, and I'm going to decide that the dining room table is 0.8 of a meter by 1.5 meters. Okay, so I'm roughly just marking those points in there. So that's roughly the size of the dining table. Now, a dining table can be any size you want it to be. You can get it custom made, and there are various sizes depending on how many people you want seated at it. Same with a couch. You can get, 1.5 seater, 2-seater, 3-seater, 4-seater, 5-seater, and so on. Like say for example, you may get a couch that may be much bigger than this, or a corner couch, which is 3 meters by 2 meters, which might look something like this. Okay, so we're going to put some dining chairs at this table so we can get a sense of how they relate to the table and how the dining area sort of relates to the overall space. So I'm going to put in the size of the dining chairs as 0.5 meter by 0.5 meter. Again, there are various sizes of dining chairs. But I'm just going to put these in here just to get started. And I suppose it's important to figure out what size the dining chair that you've chosen for your interior is, but you can do that at a later date. Okay, so now I'm going to put in the kitchen. And let's just say I'm going to put the kitchen in somewhere along this wall here. And we know that the standard depth of a kitchen counter, now this is a standard size, is 600 deep. The reason that it's a standard size is because all appliances have to fit in under the counter, and they are standard sizes. Okay, so 600 deep, so that's 500, so 600 is about there. And let's just pull in the line of our kitchen there. Okay, you might want to bring that wall up there so you don't see the edge of the kitchen. So you could do something like that. So this is your kitchen, dining, and sitting area. Now this is all very well, but it's probably useful to establish what size a person is within this space, that is to say human scale. So I'm going to draw a person in here, and they take up approximately, that's a bit big actually, approximately 0.4 of a meter in width. So a person will look something like that. I'm going to draw their feet in here. They will look something like that in relation to the entire space. So if you imagine this person's head, let's just get their shoulders in here, arms there, lower body. You could argue that if somebody was sitting on the couch, they'd look something like that. Okay, so this is the starting point for figuring out what your plan is going to look like, and also getting your head around the size of your couch, your dining table and chairs, and your kitchen, how all these things relate to each other, and indeed how they relate to human scale.